Hello, Hilltop. It's Mr. Amici. Thanks for clicking to the next tile in today's Flex Friday workout. I hope you enjoyed your Sworkit warm-up and that you learned what our functional movement means from our introduction. Now today we're going to practice some functional movement by doing combination exercises. If you remember practicing combination exercises earlier this year, those are exercises where we do two or more movements at the same time. And now I also talked about us having a new piece of equipment today. A new piece of equipment that you'll find for a lot of functional movement or combination exercises is one of these. This is called a kettlebell. Kettlebell. Now a kettlebell has a single handle and then there's a heavier weight down here at the middle. And it's designed to use with both hands or with one hand. So rather than our barbell where it was one weight and it was one long stick, or our dumbbells were two individual hand weights, this is made for both hands to go on, and then there's a weighted ball at the bottom. Now this is a piece of exercise equipment that adults would use, but not many kids your age have one of these at home. So I've got some great options for you to use as your kettlebell for some of our combination exercises today. So if you have a kettlebell, that's great, but that weight is probably too much for a friend your age. So some other options would be a bucket that has a handle. See that? How it's got a handle for me to hold on to? And then I can actually add things into my bucket to increase the amount of weight, which would then increase the difficulty of the exercises. So if you want to start out, if you have a bucket and you want to start out with the bucket being empty, and then you think, oh, this isn't too hard, maybe add a book in there, or add some other items that are a little heavier in there. But we wouldn't want to tip it over so it falls out, so make sure we're being safe. So a bucket is an option for you to use as your kettlebell. You could also use a plastic shopping bag. I put a few items inside this shopping bag. See how it's got a handle, just like our kettlebell, so I can hold on to it and do some of my exercises with a standard plastic shopping bag. If you don't have a shopping bag or a bucket at home, you could use a pillowcase. So now a pillowcase wouldn't have a handle, but you could just kind of roll the open side of it after you put something in there. See how I put a few items in there? And I could use that as my kettlebell weight today. So you could use a pillowcase. Or if you have a smaller bucket at home, a smaller bucket would be lighter weight, but again, you could still add some items in there to increase the weight of your bucket, and that would make the exercises a little more challenging. If the adult at home has a purse or any kind of a bag that has handles you could use, this is a luggage bag that I have, but if you have a purse at home or anything with some handles that you could hold on to, and again, you could fill it with items to increase the weight, that's an option for you. If you don't have any bags, you could use a winter hat. So I've got a winter hat here that I put some water bottles inside of, and I can hold this as if it were my kettlebell weight. So you could always fill a winter hat with some weighted items. And then we've got one of the reusable shopping bags. Mine's got a puppy dog on it. You could use one of these. It's got the handles, and then you could add weights to the inside. So these are all things you could use today as for our kettlebell exercises. And now remember, these exercises are going to be combination movements because we're working to improve our functional movement. That's right. So some of those everyday activities that we do, and the muscles that we're going to work the most are those core muscles. And the reason for that is when you're doing a combination exercise, you're going to be moving more than one body part at once, and that is going to cause your body to have to keep balance. Now the main items or the main muscles in your body that help you keep your balance are those core muscles. So that's why when I say, oh, we're going to use a lot of core, that's because when we're doing anything that causes us to change our balance, our core muscles are what stabilize and keep us upright. Are we ready to get started? Okay, our first combination exercise is going to be a squat and a hammer curl. So if you remember, our hammer curls is when you hold your hand like this, like if you were drinking water or if you were using a hammer to hammer a nail. But I've got my handle here for my kettlebell. I'm going to put one hand on each side. Okay, so now I'm holding it in a hammer curl position, and I've got my feet spread open, about shoulder width apart. I'm going to start with my arms down, and now as I squat, I'm going to curl. Let's do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm doing a hammer curl and a squat at the same time. My combination exercise. 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Now, a combination exercise doesn't only have to be 2 movements. We can add more, which is what we're going to do now. So we're going to still have our hammer curl grip. We're still going to squat. Then we're going to hammer curl. And now as we come up, let's overhead press. And then I'll bring my arms back down. Try that again. Squat and hammer curl. As I stand up, overhead press. And I want you to try to think of maybe some movements that you would do every day that would kind of look similar to this. Maybe picking up something that fell off the ground, reaching up and putting it back up on the shelf. So these functional movements, again, functional movement means movements of everyday activity, things that we do every single day. Like, oops, I dropped my shirt on the ground. I'm going to pick it up, put it back in my closet. Let's try 5 of those. So squat, hammer curl, overhead press. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you see how we're using all those different muscle groups at the same time? Nice job. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to use a plastic bag now. Our next one is going to be a standard curl. So I'm going to turn my hands inside like this. See, I've got them both inside there. So the insides of my hands are facing up. And I'm going to squat and standard curl. So it's just like our hammer curl, except the bottoms of my hands are facing up. Let's do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. I'm going to switch my grip to where now I'm holding it so my tops of my hands are on the top. Okay, so this would be more of like our reverse curl grip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to squat, turn this way, squat, and frontal raise. Squat, frontal raise. So remember, frontal raise, we keep our arms straight and lift them straight up in front. Frontal raise, see that? To make it a combination movement, squat and frontal raise. Let's do 5. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Okay. Well, let's get a new piece of equipment. How about I use my bucket this time? So I'm going to use some of the different pieces of equipment to show you it doesn't have to be one exact item. You could use all of these different things. And now this one, what we're going to do is we're going to lift it up, a frontal raise. Can you still see me? And we're going to make like a circle shape. So this one I'm using both arms. I'm making a circle. Let's choose one direction to go right now. Try to keep those arms straight the whole time. We're rotating them around. Circles. And let's pause at the top. And now let's go the opposite way. Let's do 5 full circles going this way. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, can any of you think of a way we could make that a more functional movement? You can. What if I did a side lunge and circle? Look at that one. Back to the middle. Side lunge and circle. Back to the middle. So again, this is training those core muscles. It's getting our body used to being unbalanced but strengthening our core so to help us keep our balance without falling. Side lunge and circle, back to the middle. Side lunge and circle, back to the middle. Good job. Let's try a new piece. How about my doggy shopping bag? Okay. Now this one, watch, I'm going to put my hands in. So the insides of my hand are facing my body. I'm going to turn to the side so we can see this. I want my elbows bent. We call this the Arnold press. Insides of my hands are facing my face. Up, up. So it's an overhead press with the insides of your hands facing you. Press it up, up. Watch what I can do. I can add a lunge and overhead press. Arnold press. Lunge, other leg, lunge, other leg, lunge, other leg, lunge. Okay, we call that an Arnold press. I've got the insides of my hands facing me, and I press it up over and lunge forward. Nice job. We're going to try some rows now. So first we're going to practice just the row. So this one won't be a combination movement, but we're going to add it to one soon. I'm going to spread my feet apart. I'm going to lean forward. And now I'm holding the bag as if I'm just holding a regular shopping bag. So where my fingers are holding the weight of the bag, just like this. And you can use two hands. I'm going to lean forward, and I'm going to row, meaning I'm going to pull it up to my body. And again, you can add weight to your bag to increase the difficulty. I'm going to row it and hold it. Watch. Bend, row, and count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. That seemed easy, but now we're going to try side lunge and row back to the middle. Side lunge, row back to the middle. Side lunge, row back to the middle. Side lunge, row back to the middle. Let's do one more each side. Side lunge, row back to the middle. Side lunge, row, and back to the middle. Excellent job. Let's get a new piece. How about my luggage bag for this one? This would be good. So now I'm going to lunge forward and row. See that? So instead of to the side and row, this one I'm going to lunge forward and row. And again, try to think of maybe daily activities you do that might look something like this. Maybe you have to reach forward to grab something and then pick it up. By practicing exercises like this, it will improve your ability to do those things. Okay, so I step forward, lunge, row, and alternate those legs. Step forward, lunge, and row. Good. How about our winter hat? Let's try that with our water bottles. And now this one is called the kettlebell swing. So what I do for this one is I stand feet apart. I kind of squat down a little bit. And I'm going to swing this up and straighten my legs and keep my arms straight the whole time. So we've talked before about when we're doing our muscle isolation, about how we don't necessarily want to do a swinging form, because then that's not really using all the muscles in our body, or that's not using specific muscles in our body. But in this case, for functional movement, we want to use our entire body. So I'm going to hold it out, squat, I swing it between my legs, push it forward. And now the heavier the item, the more challenging this move is going to be for us. So if you feel like you need to add some weight, you can. Or if you want to remove some weight, you can do that also. Let's try 5, me facing forward. Ready? Feet apart. Swing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job. So friends, that's a good number of combination movements that we've done to help improve our functional movement using kettlebells or all the other different options that we had today to use. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson on some combination exercises you can do with your kettlebell weights. Please remember to answer the questions at the end of this lesson on those tiles. And I hope you enjoyed your Flex Friday workout. And we'll see you soon. Go Hawks. Bye, everybody.